Welcome viewers to a new episode of our DENSO Tech Academy video tutorial series. This will be now our second part of the DMS device management tutorials, and in this tutorial we will start adding a device to the device management system. So we're starting where we ended in the last episode. We have the device management system set up and running. We have done the initial configuration and everything is up and running now. So what do we need to do now to add devices? As our devices should be connected to a network, we should first define a wireless network. So I'm selecting here the tab of the AP access points, and here I can now add an access point to the system. First of all, of course, I have to specify the SSID, which is the SSID of my home network. As due to Corona reasons, I'm recording this in my home office. Good, this will be the SSID. I can then set up the security settings, WPA, PSK, yes, data encryption, AES, and now I enter the password. And after I have done this, I press OK to register the access point. So I have now the wireless network configured in my system. This gives me the benefit that when I add a device to the system, I can take the device out of the box, and we will create later on a configuration QR code. And this configuration QR code is containing all the settings and information needed. So I specify when creating this later on which access point to connect to. So if I have different access points in my network environment, I can specify, let's say, on location A we have access point A, location B we have access point B, and if we ship a device later on to location A, we specify this device should connect to the network of location A. Good, after we have done this, let's have a look at the devices tab. So if we initialize the system, this is actually what we see. So we have our devices, and we have a default group defined, and then we have a group called NA. The default group, I can use this default group, but I can use or create additional groups and then later on put devices into a group. Well, let's create a group first. This is the icon we need to click to create a group, and then of course we have to give the group a name. Let's call it like the same name like our network name. This is my location, and then for each group I can specify different settings. For instance, I can specify that a battery alert should appear on the screen if the device battery power value goes below 10%. I leave it as it is. The same I can set up for available memory. So if I want to get an alert for available memory, if the memory on the device is going under 10%, then an alert can show up in our device management console. Then I can set up a GPS values to set up something like a geofence for my location. I would like to skip this, so what I will do is I will set the let and the long value to 0, which means we're not taking care of this. Next, I need to specify the access point that I want to use. So here I mark the access point. I only have one access point registered. This is why I only can see one access point. I check this access point because I want the device to automatically connect to this access point then in the next step. Good. then I can limit some permissions on the device. This is only valid for Android devices, so I can allow or disallow the usage of the camera, of Bluetooth, file transfer protocol, disallow the usage of the SD card and the microphone. We leave everything as default for now for the demo purpose. I get a conclusion, a setup, how the settings for this group will be, and then I press OK. So now we see here my group has appeared in the list of the available groups, and of course here in this list I can check a group. Let's say I don't want to have the default group, so I can delete the default group. I have to confirm this, and then, well, wait, no, I cannot delete the default group. This is what the message was saying. Of course, this is the default group, so the management system requires the group. I was misleading on this, but the group which I have created, later on, any of the groups I have created, I can delete the groups as well. So it asks me to confirm the deletion of this group, and I say yes, okay, so the group is deleted. So we will continue working with the default group now. Good. Let me start adding a device. We see here we have two icons. The one is showing register individually, and the other one is register all. So what we can do is we can register each device individually, or we can upload the needed information for which the group the devices belong to, which networks, and so on and so on. We can put all this information in a CSV file. This is of course quite useful if we are adding a whole bunch of devices, a whole shipment of devices, and would like to add them to the system. So we need to prepare, in this case, a CSV file for this, and then we can use this button to register all the devices stored in a CSV file. But for our demo purposes, we would like to register a device. I can specify a device name. I will leave it as default. This is the name the system is by default creating automatically. If I select a second device later on, then it will be added with the number 2 at the end. But of course, I can choose here whatever I want. So whatever name I would like to give the device, I can put in here. We confirm this with OK, and then we have to check, is it a 1D device or a 2D device which we would like to add to the system. So we select if we want to create setting barcodes or setting QR code. I will be using a BHT 1800 with a 2D engine, so I will continue with using QR code. Next is the selection of the access point. As I only have one access point defined in my system, this access point is automatically selected. For the network configuration, I can as well configure if I would like to use DHCP or fixed IP addresses. So if I would like to use a fixed IP address, I can specify the IP address in this area. I can as well define if to use a name server or not to use a name server. I will leave it with DHCP in this case, and if we are specifying name servers, then we can specify the IP addresses of the name servers in our system here as well. Good, let's click next and see. We can add a command here. Demo device, let me put this here, and then we say next, and this is now creating the setup QR code. So with this setup QR code available on the device, I can print this QR code now. With this QR code, I can automatically configure the device using the DMS client, which is pre-installed on our devices, or using a DMS client which I have installed on the device. If we look at the Android devices, they come with the DMS client as part of the system. If we look at the Windows CE devices, we have the needed clients in our downloads of the DMS server, and we can then simply copy the client executable on the device, start it up, and then go through the process like on the Android device where we have it as part of the system. So I will leave this window open because I need the code later on to scan it from the screen. And now let's have a look at the device screen as well. So I will add the device screen to the view. I have the device here, and everything I need to do on the device, I need to start up and then select the DMS client software. It's starting up and asking us some questions, which we confirm. Okay, we need to set up that we allow unknown sources as well. Let's do this here. And then let's go back. And now one thing is important. We can now start scanning the code already, but this will probably give us an error message because what we need to specify is the communication password. The communication password, we have set up this password during the initial configuration of the device management system. And we remember we set up this for demo purposes to the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I will add these numbers now. And confirm this. So this is basically everything I need to do to set up this password. Everything else now can be done by scanning the QR code. So I will do this. Scan the QR code from the screen. And the moment the code was read, the device starts to connect to the system. So this is now taking some time, and we see now the setup is already completed. We have the device management system up and running, so the configuration screen is gone. And we see on the other side in the device management system, the device is already appeared in the list, and we can check the information of the device. This is the given device name. We can see the serial number, product name, connection status. Of course, the device is connected, is on the wireless network. And what we see now is the main group is NA, so not assigned. This device is now in this group. And we can go through the list of all the settings. We can see the IMEI of the 3G module. We see the system version, the DMS version. We see here OS version. We see the release, the package version here, memory usage. We see the battery status. We see when it was registered, when it was last updated. We see the device is connected with a USB cable for now, so the battery voltage is charging. Yeah, we see here a bar showing the memory usage. So this is the device overview where we see all the registered devices. And now we can take this device and let's say we put it into the default group. And we see immediately the main group is changed now from the NA group to the default group where we put the device. And if we create an additional group here, we can simply, by using drag and drop, moving the device into another group. Yeah, that was the quick overview of how to add a device. So you see it's quite simple and pretty much straightforward. In the next part of the DMS tutorial, we will be looking at some other features of the DMS system, go through the other tabs, and I will bit more explain of some of the functionalities like the communication, sending messages, and so on and so on. So I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below and we'll answer as soon as possible. Or you can send us a message. You can find our contact details in the description below as well. If you want to see more video tutorials from the DENSO Tech Academy or other video content from DENSO, check out our channel or subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on new videos. That's it so far from my side. Thank you very much and bye bye.